Happy New Year, wine lovers! It's your favorite winemaker here, Tiana, and more winemaking magic.
So let's start with answering last week's question. What is the difference between white and red wine in winemaking? Well, the answer to that is the seeds and the skins. That's it. In red wines, the seeds and skins are mixed in with the juice, while white wine, the seeds and skins are removed to give it that light golden hue.
Amazing, right? Now let's get started on racking. Now racking is the second part in the winemaking process. And what that consists of is moving the fermented wine that we had sit for 14 days into a clean vessel and add clearing, polishing, and stabilizing agents and let that sit for 4 weeks. Our white and red wines take about 6 to 8 weeks to make, while our fruit-infused wines take about 4 weeks. So they have a quicker turnover rate than our white and red wines. All right, guys, so let's get started with the winemaking magic.
So before we start the racking process, we have to get a SG reading, which is a specific gravity reading, making sure that during the fermentation process is complete at its proper level at the end. At the beginning of the fermentation process, the SG reading was 1.06, and as you can see, it has lowered to the level we want, which is below 0.996. The next part is that we have to blow the valve. And what that means is we have to clear any sediment that is resting inside of the racking arm before we move that fermented wine into the clean vessel. So we don't want none of the sediment, or not majority of it, that has been resting at the bottom of the tank as well in that racking arm moved into the clean vessel. So right now I'm just completing the circuit of connecting the hose to the fermented wine and to our clean vessel. Here's our fermented wine, loaded and ready into one part of the hose. There's our machine that's going to pump into the other side of the hose into our clean vessel. Alright, I'm just turning on our pump, going at a low speed, and as it fills the hose, it's entered into our clean tank. And here's a better view of the wine being transferred into our clean vessel. And here is the racking in motion. As you can see, the fermented wine on the right is slowly transferred into the clean tank on the left. And I'm just disassembling the fermented tank, taking the wood chips that were soaking in the wine during the 2 weeks and the other instruments in that tank and just discarding and cleaning them. And here is a look at the sediment that is at the bottom of the tank and also inside the racking arm. How I have to tilt the tank while it's slowly being transferred at the same time while not getting all that thick sediment at the bottom. Alright, so right now I'm just completing the circuit on the racked wine into the new vessel. Now I'm measuring the fermented wine in the clean tank so I can get the proper measurements on the clearing, polishing, and stabilizing agents. And right now I'm just opening up the valve and letting the wine flow into the hose. We're letting the wine mix through. And I start at a slow circulation and just work my way up. Alright, so the first ingredient I'm adding is the stabilizing, and all that is doing is prevent spoilage and maintaining stability, as well suppress bacteria, yeast, and prevent oxidation, as well prevent further fermentation from happening. The next ingredient I'm adding is the fining agent, and that is going to clarify the wine and help remove any dead yeast cells. And the final ingredient I'm using is a clarifying agent. This helps eliminate any of the remaining yeast particles that is in the wine, was left over from the fermentation process. And if you guys haven't noticed, with the 3 ingredients, they all help prevent any of the continuation of the fermentation process, so we can get that wine stabilized and settled into the final product that you all love to enjoy. And also within each ingredient, it's like baking. You have your wet and dry ingredients. You don't just mix everything all at the same time. You have to slowly sprinkle in the dry with the wet so everything can be combined together perfectly. So that's the same thing that I'm doing with this racking process. So you get like a nice smooth consistency. And that's why the wine always comes out nice and smooth when you're sipping on it. Here at the winery or at home. So right now I'm just lowering the speed of the machine and then removing any excess wine from the hose as I'm getting ready to push the wine out of the hose and back into the tank itself. And here I'm about to get the final SG reading, which is specific gravity reading, and that just reads the density of sugar and alcohol level within the tank after I've added the clearing, polishing, and fining agents. And here's a closer look of the reading, and as you can see, it has lower than what we started with before the racking process. In any entryway that wine touched, I'm just cleaning up with some water and sulfite solution before securing the tank. doing is filling the tank with some nitrogen, and I will explain the reason why in the next video for the purpose of the nitrogen, because it is necessary after the fermentation process.
All right, guys, that was our racking, the second part of the winemaking process. I hope you guys enjoyed. And next week's question that you guys can answer in the comments is, what are tannins and what are the things that can kill wine? Do you guys know? I don't know. Leave me some comments. I want to see what inquiring minds have. All right, guys, until next time.